your story is a good example of you saw this challenging situation you were in with wanting to go into this world where they were burning out and you're like, man, I gotta. So you found this motivation to start digging into money. Was it like a flip of the switch? Like, how did that actually happen? Like, did you just, slowly come to that point of like connecting this whole like money is my solution or one of the solutions to kind of, or was it like a slow progression? Or, and then also like, how did you start to do that? Like, once you realize like money's the thing, how did you then dig in?
Yeah, the way that a thought that I have is a lot of change and decision actually doesn't take time. It takes a second, but it's warming ourselves to the process that may take some time or chewing the risk and benefit or not deciding. But deciding itself takes a second. You just decide and you do or not do. And so for me, it kind of was like gathering data that led to that point. So the data was people are burnt out. The ones that tend to have their money together seems to have a stronger voice or a healthier voice than those that don't. And then I looked at my kids and I'm like, what is my part in their life? Like, how am I going to, I believe that the work of every generation is to elevate the next generation. That's part of the work. Of course, you don't do it in a way that's like suffering, but I believe that my work is to make sure that my kids have better opportunities that I have had so they don't always have to start from scratch, right? My parents, right, they tried the best that they could, and I had a better platform to start with than someone that may not have grown up with parents or someone that grew up maybe with a single family or someone that grew up homeless. So I definitely recognize my own privilege. But for me, I thought that my goal and my work was to help my kids not start from where I started from, make it a little bit less hard for them. That was my goal. I don't want them to have to support their siblings. Like if they don't have to do that, I feel like that's already a huge deal. So all of that together was what made me realize that, okay, Latifah, when are you going to start learning your money? Like, when are you going to even figure out how much you owe? I didn't know who I owed. My student debt, I signed whatever crap, got it out of my face. Like forbear, defer, I don't care. Like Auntie Sally, I don't care. Just don't bother me and let me, because I don't even know what I'm signing, right? So it really was a split moment of deciding that, okay, I'm going to start. And
Mhm.
once I decided that, it was literally starting from the basics, like, what do I owe? How much do I owe? What interest rates? How do I know where my money is going? Budgeting? Okay, I'm going to try that budgeting thing. Oh, I hate budgeting, right? And then figuring out like ways that were kinder, in my opinion, to me. The other thing that happened was, unfortunately, when it comes to money, there's a lot of shaming and guilting when it comes to money. We already shame ourselves, right? And when you cannot find a community that is supportive, a community that acts like, how don't you know that? Like, how can you practice medicine when you don't know what a freaking 401k was? Like, as if it's automatic information that should just come to us without someone taking the time or us taking the intentionality to learn it. So it was not pretty, it was not fancy. It was literally like Googling, like, what is a budget? Ugh, I hate
Mhm.
spreadsheets. No, okay, how do I figure this out? Like, what's a 401k? I literally tried to learn what a 401k was like 5 billion times. And I'm smart. I'm a freaking physician. So it had nothing to do with my level of intelligence. It was like fear and pressure that I was putting on myself. And honestly, it wasn't until I told myself I did not have to memorize anything that I started to really get the knowledge. I just told myself, all this stuff exists as a reference. I know what I want to do. I'm going to reference what a 401k is until it gets implanted in my brain. So it wasn't a matter of like memorizing it, like I'd memorized a lot of things in medicine. It was literally having a better relationship with my learning experience. And that way I sort of lowered my defenses and I was able to gather the information a little bit easier and smoother and more productive. Because
Mhm.
again, it doesn't matter how much you know if you're not doing the work, if you're not taking the action. People say knowledge is power. I disagree. I think knowledge plus action is power, right? So it's sort of like, with the little that I may know, how do I actually implement that, take action on that so that I can create the result that I want to see in my life, which is have money, be financially liberated, create wealth, and be able to live life really on my terms.